We're going to be starting today at the top of our mat, keeping the feet at hips width, and taking the palms to heart center, thumbs pressing against the sternum. Tuning in to our body, start by closing the eyes. Take a micro bend to the knees. Relax through your toes and soften your jaw. Witnessing the breath coming in and out of the nose. Filling that space just between your shoulder blades. Noticing the rise and the fall of the chest palate. And throughout our practice today, at any point, if you feel sporadic thoughts coming in, just acknowledge them. Try not to hold attachment to any of them. Just do your best on letting them go, bringing yourself back to this moment. Breathing in and out of the nose. Just about 5 more breaths. Good. From here, gently open up the eyes. Inhale, reaching the arms overhead. Take the head to look up slightly. Squeeze your glutes and lean back. Slowly exhale, hinge from your hips. Keep a flat spine, there's no rush. And then slowly do your best to come into your forward fold, slightly bending at the knees. Now, because it's our first one, we're just going to hang out here for a little bit. So take your eye line past your inner thighs, lengthening out the back nape of the neck, and then try to equally distribute your weight from the pads of the feet, out steps, and heels. Relaxing the weight of the upper body as you deepen into the posture. This will help to really stretch out the back glutes, hamstrings, and lower back. You're here for about 2 more counts. Again, softening the toes. Maybe shake out your head a little bit to ensure that you're not tightening through that area of the body. And then bend your knees a little bit deeper now. Plant the palms and step your right leg back. Dropping the back knee, coming into a deep runner's lunge. You want to ensure you have a front knee to heel alignment, that the knee does not go past the toes. Keep the eyes looking toward the top of the mat. And we're going to hold here for a few counts. So pull that left hip back in toward the midline of the body. Engaging through your pelvic floor as well will help to lengthen out the lumbar spine. Try to set the shoulder scapula down and back. And for the last few counts, maybe you could come up with the palms on the knee or the palms to the hips for 1 more breath. Good. Taking the palms toward the mat, coming into our first downward dog. Doing so mindfully, palms are at shoulders width, feet are at hips width, and then looking past your inner thighs. Now, ensuring that all 10 of your fingertips are firmly pressing down into your mat. Let's take a moment here to inhale, reach the heels high, hollow out your belly, and again ensure that the arms are engaged as it pushes the chest palate toward your thigh bones. On the next passing exhale, slowly lower down the heels. Continue to do your best on maintaining a flat spine today, so nice and long. There could be a micro bend in the knees, or you're welcome to slightly bend the elbows a little bit, but with time, with practice, you'll be able to find that perfect triangle posture if there was a mirror just to the side of your body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Good. Looking toward the top of your mat. Bend your knees, slowly tiptoe the feet up. So the feet are coming back into a hips width forward fold. So this is your second set. Perhaps hold on to opposite elbows to add a little bit more weight, bringing your body into a deeper set. Crown of the head is parallel to the mat. And with time and gravity, patience, that body will naturally come deeper into a stretch. Good. Releasing the elbows, bend your knees, head comes up last. Roll up your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, slow down. There is no rush. For those of you that are in that standing position already, let's inhale the arms toward the ceiling. Look up slightly, reach the arms back, squeeze your glutes, palms to prayer, exhale. Let's do that again. Bounce to the knees, inhale the arms up toward the ceiling, slight lean back, hinging from the hips slowly, flat back, forward fold for 2 breaths this time. Good. Slowly bend the knees deeper. This time, step your left leg back into a deep runner's lunge. And once again, we're just going to hang out here for a little bit, ensuring that your alignment is there. That back knee is dropped down just to bring ourselves into a soothing warm-up round. And then slightly bend the elbows, going deeper into that left hip. Front knee to heel alignment. Roll the scapula down and back. And whether you stay here for a few breaths, or you maybe take the palms to the thighs again, or to the hips, just be mindful that you're pulling that right hip back in toward the midline of your body. Good. Slowly taking your palms down toward the floor and come back in toward your downward dog. This being your second one, maybe you could try to ground down your heels a little bit more. Inhale, lift the heels up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, slowly lower down the heels. Feel the belly hollowing in. You're breathing a little bit more into the rib cage now. We're going to speed up that process, coming into this stage by stage sun salutation. Okay, half set. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Walk the feet up so the feet are at hips width. Let's take the palms to the shins this time. Inhale a flat back, and then exhale, deepen your set into a forward fold. Roll up your spine one more time, vertebrae by vertebrae. So you're taking your time to come up into a stand. Inhale the hands overhead, slight lean back with the spine, palms to prayer on an exhale. Okay, let's begin. Bounce to the knees, inhale the arms up overhead, forward fold, exhale. Taking the palms to the shins, flat back on an inhale. Step the right leg back, hold your deep runner's lunge for 3 breaths. Wherever you are, palms can be on the thighs again, maybe up toward the ceiling. But then find that lengthening sensation, not just in your body, but in the inhales and the exhalations. Good. Taking the palms toward the floor, high plank pose for 2 breaths. Now coming into our first round, we're going to drop down onto the knees, and we might do this part a little different than you may be used to. You're going to lower down the head, chest, and get the forehead and chest to touch the mat. Before uncurling your toes, inhaling in your upward dog, it could be a baby cobra, And then tuck your toes, exhale back in toward a downward dog. Taking 2 breaths here. Good, bending at the knees, look to the top of the mat, tiptoe your feet up. Feet are at hips width, palms to the shins as soon as you get there. Flat back on an inhale, forward fold, exhale. Inhale to rise, stand right up, reaching the arms overhead, palms to prayer in front of the heart, exhale. Second side, bounce to the knees, inhale the arms up. Hinging from the hips, exhale, forward fold. Palms to the shins, inhale a flat spine lifting up through the chest, and then exhale the left leg steps back. You're here for a few counts, remember? So set your body up. Pulling that right hip back in toward midline, press firmly into that right heel. Maybe you stay where you are, or you find that reflection pose. You come back into where you were prior. Taking 2 breaths. Exhale, planting your palms back down toward the mat. High plank pose. Hold momentarily, and we're going to do the same thing that we did prior. So you're going to drop down onto the knees and try to get the chest and the forehead to touch the mat as you bend the elbows and lower down. Uncurl the toes. Upward dog, inhale. Into a downward dog. Exhale, engaging through your core to bring yourself back into that resting pose. And it may not feel that way right now, but with time and practice, you'll get deeper and more comfortable in this resting position. We're going to speed it up just a notch. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, walk or jump your feet up. Palms to the shins when you get there, flat back, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, stand it up, reaching the arms overhead, squeeze your glutes, palms to prayer, exhale, forward fold right away. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. Right leg steps back into a deep runner's lunge, dropping the back knee, inhale the arms up for 1 count. Exhale the palms down, high plank pose, inhale. Knees, chest, chin, exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, 2 breaths. Good, bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, walk or jump the feet up. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand it up, reach the arms overhead, and like you did before, palms to prayer, but hinging forward at the hips. Come back into a forward fold. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. Left leg steps back into a deep runner's lunge. Arms come up to the ceiling. Arms come back down toward the floor, getting ready for your high plank. Knees, chest, chin to lower down with control. Uncurl the toes, upward dog, downward dog, exhale, 2 breaths. So we started nice and slow. We sped it up just a bit by the end of our practice today, fully focusing on breaking down our partial sun salutation. All right, this time, as you look to the top of the mat, bend the knees, tabletop, and come into a child's pose just momentarily. Hips to the heels, whether you're just bending at the elbows and relaxing your forehead to the ground, or if you're feeling a little bit more active, reaching the palms forward so the elbows are lifted off of the mat and you're still taking your forehead down toward the mat. Just take a moment here to recollect the breath. Allow it to slow down, finding rhythm, finding length. Slowly walk your palms toward the right side, just slightly off of the mat, with your left palm over top of the right. getting a little bit deeper of a side lateral stretch. Good. Once again, relaxing your jaw, the upper body. As you walk your palms back to center, slowly walk the palms now to the left. With the right palm just slightly over top of the left, deepening that side body release. And then again, deepening your breath. You're here for just 2 more breaths. Good job. Bring your palms back towards center. Tabletop on your next inhale. Coming into a few cat-cow poses. So dropping the belly, lifting the head, the tailbone, your belly drops. Inhale here. And then exhale, rounding out through the spine. Draw the chin to the chest, pushing the mat away from you firmly. Inhale, cycle back, roll the shoulder blades, drop your belly, lift the tailbone. Exhale, rounding out through the spine. Okay, close your eyes. Just take a few more rounds. You can allow yourself to be a little bit more organic, creative in the movements if you want to shake the shoulders and hips from side to side. Good, and on your last exhale, find that neutral spine once again. Bring the big toes together to touch, taking an inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Child's pose. Coming back into that set, forehead toward the mat. And you can either rest here, you can add on, or come into that final Shavasana.